Thank you all for joining the live AMA session today with me. I'm Kristen from BSC Army, and I'll be the host for our live today with CL from Lonstone. We're broadcasting from the BSC Army YouTube channel, so if you're new here, please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe to our channel because we're coming back with new live AMA section and more interesting videos each week. Also, if you have any comment or question, please drop it in the comment box because we'll be selecting 5 best comments and we'll have a giveaway rewards by the end of the live. Um, Pleased to announce joining with us today is CL from LaunchZone. So could you please tell us a little bit about yourself and the project as well?
Nice to meet you, Kristen. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you. Nice to meet you too.
Okay, so first of all, it's such a pleasure to be here today. So I am CL, currently the representative business developer of LaunchZone. So my story started about 4 years ago as like any other traders in this market. So when the market was still new, I thought that Bitcoin was like a thing for me to earn big income in a small time. So I tried some margin trading and at the end burned all my trading accounts. So after burning all my life saving, that was when I got chance to meet with Mr. Tony, our current CEO. And we kind of shared a similar vision of creating a DeFi project at the very start. So after 3 years of all the hardships and up and downs, we drafted many models and finally came up with the model currently called LaunchZone ecosystem. So after 3 years of working together, now I'm currently the representative BD of LaunchZone, and we've been in business for like half a year. So, yep, hopefully most of the people here have quite known about us.
That was a really touching story of you. Can you please share more about the reason why or your CEO started the team and started this project overall?
Yeah, so back to like 3 years ago, we noticed that since the existence of blockchain is giving like a lot more potential for the new economy, and we also thought that there's something that lacked between this traditional transition into the new economy. And we also noticed that when DeFi started to show up, there was a lot of projects that appeared and got the price increase very fast in a very short amount of time. But in the end, not every project, and there were very few projects that actually can survive in this market for long. And most of the tokens ended up being rug pulled or out of value. So our solution was that we want to create a platform to establish like a very clear connection between real projects that are potential enough to survive in this DeFi market for a long period of time. And on the other hand, we can connect the real loyal investors and create like a very healthy community of loyal investors to stick with us and invest in the startups that we think that are potential. So that was the initial idea of LaunchZone, establishing a clear connection between investors and also DeFi startups. And we hope that just by doing this, the community from the fund from the community of investors can reach the right place of developing the potential startups. And when the startups are strong enough to be on their own, they can actually bring values to this world by their solutions.
Mm. So as you mentioned, you guys want to bring some potential to the member, to the community. What exactly what are you referring to? Like what potentials are there?
Well, so the reason why we call ourselves LaunchZone was because in our vision in mission, we see ourselves as the incubator for DeFi project and startups. And this incubation process involved launch the project, helping the project having uh, essential tools and also um, support in order to survive in this market. So that is why we call ourselves LaunchZone. an incubator zone for new startups and projects. And as mentioned earlier, what we do is evaluate the project and decide whether we should launch them and support them during their way to develop themselves in the DeFi market. So the potential that we are actually bringing is the evaluations of real potential projects to get them to the available fund of our community. Clear connection between
Um,
investors and projects.
right. So in this certain market, I know that transparency is the key. So I think the viewers would want to know more about your team members and how many members are there, or like what are the positions, and who are you working with, the developers and advisors?
Yeah, well, thanks. Well, since we're an anonymous team, so I may not be able to share with you all the details on our team. But what I can say is that since we are quite superstitious and since our team consists of individuals from different nations, we are a mix of 12 different individuals from all over the world, from different countries and also levels in this market. So yeah, you can refer to us like the 12 angels, but hopefully that's the case. So the core team consists of 12 people, and each of us would be a leader of a different sector to maintain the operation of this project. So we have a few guys in charge of tech, and in the tech field, there will be people who in charge of UI and also people who in charge of back end and storage like that. And since I am the head BD, so my main field is connections and relation with other projects. And for the support we've been having, our team has also been able to get like a very good connections with fellow investors to create our current community. So apart from the core team that are currently running the whole operation of LaunchZone, our our smaller teams can be about 500 or 600 people, if my memories are correct. So that would be quite a big machine up and running in motions. And this whole machine has been helping us gain uh, very close relation with other partners in the field, including Bakery Swap, Pancake Swap, Harbor Audits, Certic, and also other well-known names in the field of BSC projects.
That's a really impressive way to divide tasks for each person, and like I love how like each of you are in charge of one field, one aspect only. So altogether, what products have you guys came up with, or are you guys working on, or have been released?
Well, so LaunchZone ecosystem currently consists of three main different products that are that are called SwapX, our AMM aggregator. Secondly, it is PoolX, our your farming products. And lastly, PadX, our ideal launch product. And since our vision is to establish like the full support for DeFi startups, each of these products were created to make sure that we can give our projects that launch on our platform liquidity, uh, decentralized exchange for their token, and also relations with other partners from the field.
Mm.
So yeah,
So
so
what are the main functions?
of each product, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Squabeck is, like I said, our AMM aggregator. So it is like a centralized exchange. So we have a very good mechanic of dividing the order into small order to make sure that users on Squabex can get like the better swap rate during their trades. PoolX main
Mm.
function would be creating LP pools to provide liquidity for the tokens that launch on our field or of partner projects. And currently, we've also updated our PoolX to stake the NFT tokens. So this is quite a new feature. So PadX is the main product that helps us to launch IDO on our platform. So whenever there's a new project that wants to launch on our platform, PadX will be where they show up to the world.
Um, that's really interesting. So we would like to know more about the business model. Could you share with us?
Yeah, sure. So talking about our model, we will have to talk about our BSCX token. So the idea is that BSCX token is the governance token of our ecosystem and also the liquidity. This means that BSCX token can help you activate many valuable functions in the platform. So for now, if you want to get to activate your referral link on PoolX, you can stake the LP tokens between BUSD token and also BSCX token in order to activate such link. So if you use this link to refer other people to use our system, apart from their transaction fee and also yield farming token shall be transferred directly to the referrer. So that would be for PoolX. For PadX, since we have like a very big community hunting for our IDOs, and also a lot of free investors who come to us to buy the IDOs spot. So BSCX token work as a way to eliminate and decide whether who would get the spot to buy IDOs. So for now, if you want to buy the IDOs on PadX, you need to lock a certain amount of BSCX token in order to exchange for the lottery ticket. So once you win the lottery, you can earn a certain spot to purchase the IDO using also the BSCX token. So yeah. So the model here is that we get the BSTX token to as the way to pay for valuable services, and also when project come to us to launch their IDO, we will also have a negotiation with them to get like a certain commission from the launch. So that is currently how we generate our incomes and how we deal with the BSTX token.
Right. So you mentioned unlocking the token. So what kind of plans have your team came up with about the token unlocks in the future?
What do you mean token unlock? What exactly?
Mm, like you just mentioned that you guys have some kind of like token unlocking kind of program.
Oh, yeah. So it's not really like a token unlocking program. What I just said is that in order to buy IDO spots on PADX, you need to lock a certain amount of BSCX
Mm,
to earn the
okay.
spot. So this period would last for 6 months. So for example, if you have like 1,000 of BSCX token, you can go into PADX and trade it for 10 different lottery tickets. So for 6 months, just by holding that amount of BSCX token, whenever there's a new IDO, you can get chance to win the lottery ticket and purchase the IDO spot that you claim with your BSCX token. So after the period of 6 months, the BSCX token that was locked for IDO spot shall be released. So users shall have like option to whether to keep locking BSCX token for more IDO sessions in the future, or they can just lock it and trade it just like a normal token.
Well, thanks to your detailed explanation, I understood the concept. Um, I have one more question about the BSCX price. What do you think could possibly affect the price or increase the price of this token?
Well, in my own opinion, what really affects the price of BSCX token is its value of our reputation and also our capability to maintain a good community. So the main functions of BSCX token so far is to create ideal spots. So by making sure that our evaluation stays well and we can offer more potential startups to be launched on Paddock, it means that there will be a lot more of people who wants to purchase our ideal spots. And the more people want to purchase the ideal spots, the more BSCX tokens shall be locked, and the more demand for the token shall be generated to purchase it. And just by maintaining a good uh, operations of paddocks and keep introducing new potential startups, the demand for BSCX tokens shall be increased by the lock period, and also the demand for new tokens to be launched in the DeFi section. And another thing is the community itself, because so far our vision is to connect the community of investors to the right project. So by maintaining a good communications with our community, we can ensure that they understand all that's happening on the ecosystem and they know what to do. And the reputations shall keep us having more members, and members shall lock more BS token. So at the end, it will generate like a continuous flow for BSCX token for the market, or at
Mm,
least that's what we plan.
well, since there are so many people would want to join and desire to own or hold the token, can you explain your distribution of this tokenomics? Like specifically, how many tokens will be mined? How many tokens will be locked by the members, by the team?
Yeah. So in our vision, since we wanted to create like a fully decentralized and also transparent system, so at first, BSCX tokens total supply was at 100 million, but after a community vote, 90% of our BSCX token total supply was burned, and leaves BSCX tokens total supply only nearly 10 million left in circulation and also available in this world. So the farming for BS, the distribution for BS token was done by your farming, and since 90% of the token was burned, so the farming for this token was finished long ago. So now there can be no more new BSCX token to be generated, as well as there's no more new farming for BSCX token. So for our yield farming mechanism, at the first stage, people can farm for BSTX token, but the thing is that the reward token shall be divided into two portions. 20% shall be rewarded directly to the users who farmed using the LP tokens, and 80% was locked for 1 year period in order to maintain the liquidity for the token and also make sure that we're not being rug pulled or flushed away by the market. So far, that's how we've been dealing with the token.
Well, since there are so many scam projects in the market nowadays, one can you guarantee that your project differ from them? And like, what are the reasons for an investor to invest in LaunchZone?
Well, talking about this field, I can actually give you two different answers. The first thing is that, personally speaking, all of us are all different, and we all came from different countries and working different time zones. But the thing that really bond us is the vision to create a healthy platform to contribute to the well-being of the world economy. So emotionally speaking, the ideal is what sticks us together and what makes this whole ecosystem valuable. So just emotionally speaking. So well, professionally speaking, we have been through 4 different audit process from Certic, Halbon, and also Very Chains. So far, all of our products and smart contracts has been verified to be valid and also uh, cleared for business. And because we've been able to maintain good connections and also a good operations during our period, so we've been having a lot of a healthy connection with big partners in the field, including Pancake Swap, Bakery Swap, and many other well-known names like Certic and Helmet. So the partners are also very well known and they are professionals in the field. So we believe that by working with them and expanding our range of services, users can have the faith that we're not running away from our partners or even them. Yep.
Well, thank you for your detailed description about the project. We'll move on to the second part of the live session, which is talking about the business plan. The first question that I have for you is that we would like to know about the roadmap. Um, how has the business been doing, and what are the next targets? What are the next moves that you guys have planned?
Yeah, so since our launch in December 2020, we have decided to create the three key products uh, within the first quarter of the year 2021. So far we've been quite successfully put up with this roadmap by introducing SwapX, PoolX, and also PadX. So in the next quarter, our plan it was quite changed a bit because according to the first roadmap, we supposed to create the DexX product that is a fully functional decentralized exchange. But now, since the market demand has been a little bit changed, so the DX launch shall be left until the end of this year. So during the next quarter, we shall introduce the new product that is called Enox and perhaps another NFT marketplace to cover all the spends and demand for DeFi projects. So far,
Mm,
we have been running and testing constantly the Enox and all the smart contracts are also under audit for now. So hopefully that during the next quarter, we can make it in time to introduce Enox for the world and expanding our business.
mm. Well, so it's clearly that you guys are focusing on the Enox right now. Am I correct?
Yeah, you can say that. But
Can you?
not just Enox, we also been
Mm,
working with a lot of upgrades for SwapX and PoolX. So just recently, our PoolX was upgraded with NFT staking for our strategic partner. So now you can also go to PoolX and try to earn some NFT token just by staking. And
mm,
soon, also during the next quarter, SwapX shall be upgraded with the limit order function, and we believe that this function shall greatly help investors to have more options and also freedom with their transactions. Yeah, so far.
well, it's a little bit ridiculous to ask this, but can you give us a little bit of your like give us a sneak peek about what are the goals or what are the developments that you're guys planning on?
Yeah. Well, as mentioned from the first, we our main business focusing on incubations of potential startups. So the idea is that we're gonna provide all the necessary help for a new project to survive in this market. So that was the reason why three key products were SwapX to provide an exchange for the new token to be released, also PoolX to provide liquidity options for the new ideal project that launched on our platform. And PadX is, of course, our gateway to introduce new startups to the world. So InnoX would be a product that would help even non non-developers know how to open their own project, and Enox shall be the product to give full support in terms of technical advice and also a smart contract for any new project. So as long as you have an idea that it can actually create values to the world, you can submit your application to Enox, and we're gonna provide you the necessary support that you need to create your own projects. And the decentralized exchange was also a thing that we're purchasing in the future. So for now, the limit order function upgrade of SwapX shall be a great foundation that we are testing with to make sure that when the DexX is introduced on our platform, it is fully functional, it is fully stable, as well as it's going to be fully, well, convenient for users.
Well, that's a really amazing plan ahead of y'all. And I love how like you always have like a clear vision of where you guys are going. Um but despite that, Is there any challenge that the team is facing right now, and how do you guys overcome it?
Yeah, well, talking about DeFi project, we are looking at a bigger picture of the decentralized economy in general. So we all know that at this point, after the adjustment in price of Bitcoin, the market in general has been facing a very low period. So after we reached our peak at nearly 30 US dollar per BSCX token, the price has pretty much down from that peak. And currently there we have been under a lot of pressure dealing with our constant updates on our product, as well as the development of new products. So the two things that we're facing mostly for now is that the first, the market pressure from the dumps and also the community disbelief because they see the dump. And the second thing that we are actually have to face it every day is the constant workflow that we have no way to get ourselves out at this point. So our solution is pretty simple: sticking our head to our vision and know what we're doing. As long as we can survive through this low period of the market, and as long as we can successfully introduce all the necessary upgrades and stay in the business with our product, we have no doubt that there's going to be a very bright future for our project, or at least the 12th angel of our core team all believe that.
Well, that sounds really motivational, and I hope that you guys will achieve your goals and overcome all the difficulties in the way. Um, we're moving on to the next chapter of this life, which is marketing strategy. So how is the community growing on Telegram or on Twitter? And like, can you give us a little update about your social signals?
Yeah, well, I'm not really much of a tech guy, so I don't really know how to share my screen right now. But what I can share with you is that during our high operational period, BSCX token as well as LaunchZone was ranked the top was ranked B, the Binance Smart Chain project with top social signal on Twitter and also Telegram. And the reason why we were able to create this outcome was because there was a new program that we call the BSCX Hero program up and running to boost the interaction from our community and also the interaction between our social sites. So the idea is that by instead of simply let people locking BSCX token to attend the ideal spot, our members can also attend the purchase of new ideals by interacting with our social posts and also uh, new events on Twitters. And when they do that, they will stake some certain point, and we're going to calculate the points and give free ideal spots for the top contributors. And by doing that, we've been able to maintain a very vibrant connection between our investors, our and also our project. Because every time a new post or tweet that was published by LaunchZone, it will get like tons of interaction from our community and also from the people who want to hunt for the free ideal spots. So far with our current marketing strategy, we've been able to get our users become more active with our posts and updates, and also being able to maintain like a very clear expansion and method for the whole system.
Well, we've known that community support is like one of the most important aspects of project success. Um, most projects have programs that interact with their users or help boosting the community. So for LaunchZone, do you guys have any special or techniques plans to attract or expand the community globally and improve the user experience?
Yeah, so just like I mentioned earlier, the BSCX Hero program was one of our hits to increase our social interactions. So far, when the model is pretty outdated now, we've got quite some new experience in dealing with social interactions and also public attention. So instead of doing everything by ourselves now, we have been able to get ourselves in a very healthy business alliance with different projects, including BSC Army, Easy DeFi, and also Bakery Swap. So what we do is that whenever there's a new event that involves the interactions of each product, our business alliance gonna work work to create the most potential in social interaction for each event. So by dividing this marketing strategy into like a bigger alliance, we can have more exposure from every community that was run by each independent project. So the long story short is that we have more communities and also less workload to deal with. Yep.
Thank you for your share about all the about like the plan and overalls about the project. Right now we're moving on right into the Q&A section, and I'll be selecting um 5 best comments that the viewers have dropped in the comments box for us. Um, right now I'm seeing, oh, this viewer has some really interesting question. The question is, when will Enox come out? Lunchstone has been teasing them for months. I really want to create my own token, guys. Yeah, can you share
Yeah.
it with us?
Yeah, well, it is quite a good question because according to our first initial plans, Enox was supposed to be introduced to the market by the early of June, but because we had some problem in UI and also we had to change the whole front end of the product, so now the audit process have to go all over again. So we've been dealing with it, and hopefully we can get it up and running in the next quarter, hopefully somewhere between July or August. But since I'm not a tech guy here, so that's just my presumption. So if you want to know when Enox is really going to be out there and in motion, just stay tuned to our social updates and you'll know what to do and when to expect.
Well, I hope that the project will be launched soon and successfully. Um, the second question that we're having right now is that the current IDO mechanism is not good enough, is not attractive enough to make investor hold their BSCX. Will there be any changes in the near future to keep the investors stay?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure that this question was the consequence of the two problems that we recently faced with our IDOs. So the first one was FOC token from the Frustrate team, and the second one was a very recent IDO that we decided to cancel, which is MOS. So the reason why there was actually a problem arise was that the two projects were doing IDOs on multiple platforms. So what really happened was that during the IDO session and after the PGE event, our token has arrived late. So the purchaser of FEC token actually got the token later than the other platforms and ended up getting the dump from other platforms. And we also got a lot of aggression on this. And the second case was from the Mars team. So it was also a multi-platform IDO that we decided to do. But right before we launched our IDO, there were some mistake and also miscommunication between the Bakery Swap team and Mars team. So instead of doing the IDO simultaneously, Bakery Swap actually sold the IDO much sooner than we expected. So as a way to make sure that we can protect our investors from the dumps, we decided to cancel the IDO at the last minute, and that is why we're getting quite some confusions about our IDO's mechanism. So in the future, BSX token shall still be used as a way to tell whether who should get the IDOs. So this is a thing that we might not change throughout the whole process of our operations. And also during this recent period, the BSCX Hero program was actually decided to have an end. So there's going to be no more ideal spots for our heroes only, but everyone going to get like more rounds with different amount of BSCX token to hold in order to attend the ideal sessions. So what makes our holders would want to hold BSCX token is the belief that we're going to introduce to the world more and more potential startups and projects that can guarantee like high ROI on income. So we are quite confident that once we can make sure to have a clearer communication with projects that tend to do ideas on multiple platforms, and
Sorry, are
doing
you
really
done
well.
talking? Yeah, I kind of missed out a part.
Yeah, I just finished the previous
Okay,
question.
okay. So we have one more related to the IDO. This one came from Batman Patrick. Can you explain why the Mars IDO was cancelled? We had high expectations for it.
Well, like I just mentioned during my previous answer, since Mars decided to launch their IDO on multiple platforms, so we got a miscommunication in scheduling. So right before we launch our IDOs on PADX, Mars IDO was done on another platform, and there was a lot of users who bought and made the price pump very hard. So in order to save our users from the dumps and bad reputation for our platform, we decided to call it off at the last minutes. Yeah, it was also like a big loss for us because Mars is a very potential project that we had a lot of expectation on. But since our investors' safety is on table, we cannot risk that. So we decided to call it off.
We're moving on to the fourth question. This one came from a person with the account of he always smiles. Does LaunchZone has any project about NFT this month?
You mean in terms of IDO, or is it like just the NFT relation in general?
I think they're referring to the NFT in general because
Yeah.
he doesn't specify it in the question.
Okay, so no matter what he is trying to refer to, so first of all, in terms of IDO, we're actually having some negotiation with other projects, and since the official choice from the BOD hasn't decided to, uh, we haven't decided to actually deal with any other IDO project for now. So the IDO's NFT shall still be a vacant spot until this point. And regarding our model, we've been having a business alliance with Bakery Swap and also Bondly. And also, we've been creating a gallery that is shared by our partners and also our users. So in the very near future, no, it sounds for talking about future already. Perhaps next week we're gonna get it published and announce that we're officially in this alliance, and the NFT shall be an option to get on LaunchZone. And at this point, you can actually stake the BARMY token in order to exchange for iBarmy. And this is like the first upgrade that we have related to NFT.
Well, this is such an exciting news for all of us, I believe. I think we're all looking forward to hear the news on your official sites.
Yep, thanks.
Um, for the last question that came from Anita, how do you reduce price slippage? This is such a new topic that we haven't mentioned yet. So could you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so a thing about the DeFi transaction is the lack of liquidity. So whenever there is a new transaction with high volume being placed in the platform, the uh, the system gonna generate it and get and transfer the token from the LP pools to generate the transaction for the users. But the thing is that by generating the direct orders, the slippage might get too high because the liquidity is something that we got to be careful about when talking about DeFi projects. So with SwapX, a thing that we tried to do was to divide the transactions into smaller orders, and try to route them into suitable LP pools to decrease the chance of slippage and also to utilize the slippage uh, possible for the transactions. And just and this technology is what we call the AMM plus technology, and this pretty much helped our SwapX gain its place at the top referred decentralized exchange on the operator just like 2 months ago. And at this point, you can actually still try SwapX and see the difference between our AMM aggregator comparing to other aggregator in terms of a slippage, and you'll see the difference.
Well, that was pretty much it for our conversation today. Um, we will be contacting all the viewers that have left the comments, and we will inform them about the prize and the reward for the giveaway later. Thank you all for staying until the end of this live AMA session. Also, thank you, CL, for spending your time today with us and your share. It was nice talking to you.
Yep, it was a pleasure for me too. You are such a friendly host, Kristen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yep.
So we're closing up the live, but we'll be posting the video on our YouTube channel later. So please stay tuned and have a nice day.